No. There's better strikers in that era.
You're moving the goalposts.
Things don't happen without Bruno.
I'm joking. Today I've got 20 Premier League fans up against one Manchester United fan. On Manchester United Fans, we bring different topics that they want to debate for 10 minutes. Each of our 20 Premier League fans have their own yellow card. And if they think the person debating against the United fan isn't doing a good enough job, they can raise it to get rid of them. And if 10 yellow cards have been raised, I'll send them off. They'll then be replaced by another fan until 10 minutes is up. And once we're done, we're done.
Ferdinand and Vidic are the greatest centre-back partnership that the Premier League's ever seen.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. There we have it. 10 minutes on the clock. Surely. Okay, you can do a tag team in a minute. When you go off, you tag him out. Okay. Get in here. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, come on, let's start.
Here we go.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's go.
Okay, Carell, go. Jump start.
Go for it.
John Terry?
Yeah, I think John Terry and Cavalier wiped the floor, considering in that era they were winning as many titles while setting defensive records.
Okay, you didn't win as many titles because that pairing of United, Vidic and Ferdinand won more Premier League titles and they won the Champions League. No, Cavalier wasn't playing by the time he won the Champions League. So you can't.
But Cavalier was also winning Champions Leagues with Porto. Like, he was a higher standard caliber player than Vidic.
No, we're talking about the Premier League.
Vidic was getting dragged through the mud by Torres. Let's not do this one.
I've got you.
Go on.
In the time that they were both in the Premier League,
yeah,
they both won the same amount of Premier Leagues actually. Won 3 each.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant, isn't it?
But you said they won more
titles.
titles.
It was within that 6-year period, it was 3-3.
Yeah, but the point is, based on the longevity of that partnership, they've won more titles. Whether your player got injured earlier, left earlier, that's not my problem.
One went to Real Madrid, big club.
Yeah, but he didn't do well there.
Doesn't matter. He went to
Real Madrid. Well. He won a league. He won La Liga in that time, and also like.
Let's just look at the protection that Chelsea team had, right? So you got Petr Cech, pre-helmet, right? One of the greatest goalkeepers.
Yep.
Could have phrased it better. But before he got kicked in the head, he was one of the greatest keepers I've seen in the Premier League. Do you agree? Yes or no?
Even Edwin
Van
der Sar.
Yeah, but let's just carry on.
Van der Sar has the clean sheet record. So
you had Ivanovic / Paulo Ferreira at right back, yeah? Which is better than an aging Gary Neville and one season of West Brom.
In all honesty, I'd say that Gary Neville was better than Paulo Ferreira.
Ashley Cole, would you agree that he's a better defender than ever?
It was Gallas in those years, though.
No, but I'm talking about...
But when
Cole
Cavalier
came in
and
05-06. We're not talking about one particular season.
But in terms of when they're setting the records, the best of those two, they had a higher peak as a defensive player.
Gallas and Ashley Cole, let's just bring them both together. Are they better defensively than ever? Yes or no? There you go. So you got more protection on that left. Did they not name a whole position after Claude Makelele? Yes or no? For being the greatest holding midfielder of his generation.
Yeah, they did. But
did they name a position after Michael Carrick?
No, they didn't.
But can Paul Scholes tackle? Yes or no? Famously, can he tackle?
I don't think so, but everyone talks
compared
about
to Essien. So you got Makelele and Essien in front of that back four. You've got Cech in the back. You've got Ashley Cole, the greatest defensive left back of his generation after Maldini.
We're acting like Evra was a scrub. He was no scrub.
You've got the greatest defensive mind as a coach in Jose Mourinho. So the whole team's basically set up to defend. And yet, Ferdinand and Vidic had a better defensive record for 3 seasons in a row. They had the best defensive record in the Premier League. From 06, 07, 08, 09, 010, they had a better defensive record than Chelsea.
He's going up against Avram Grant, who was just like the PE teacher that's been subbed in for the day.
United were playing on the front foot tactically. They had to play a more aggressive style of football.
So were Chelsea with Robben and Duff and Drogba and Lampard bagging the amount he was. We had a very attacking player.
Robben left after a season or two.
No,
I don't think you can...
Half of that partnership's time, Robben was there, and when Malouda came in, he was also bagging goals. We did play very attacking football in those years. That's why,
ultimately,
in 09-10...
United got to 2 Champions League finals with that defensive partnership in a more attacking team.
But in 10-11...
In a more attacking team.
But in 10-11, both of them missed a lot of time with injury.
Wow, both off, lads. Well done, guys. Well done. That was a first. That was interesting. A tag team. Okay, well, we've still got just over 6 minutes left. Anybody else would like to step up to the plate? 3, 2, welcome, Liverpool. Who would you put forward for Liverpool? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm coming at this from a different angle.
Okay, fair enough.
I want to talk about Fernando Torres.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I think everybody in this room probably wouldn't have Torres in their top 5 strikers in the Premier League era. I think that's not controversial.
I really rate Torres because in that period between, I'd say when he first joined before he went to Chelsea, I thought he was the most devastating forward in the Premier League.
I love Torres. I love watching him.
I think personally Vidic really struggled against Torres because Vidic's big weakness was mobility, right? And Torres had that in spades.
But what I'm arguing here is...
What's a partnership?
I know, okay.
Yeah, you go first, and then I'll come back.
Look, they were a partnership in terms of longevity. But I just think if you're getting bullied by a guy who most people don't rate, as that he was very, very, very good player.
I think it's
Torres.
silly not to rate Torres
No,
because this guy, in his prime, he's won Spain Euro 2008, scored the goal in the final.
This isn't
right?
about stats.
He was a legend at Atletico Madrid. Every club wanted him. He comes into the Premier League and he's electric. You look at those highlights.
But it wasn't just like, oh, they struggled a bit. Like Vidic got killed by Torres every time they played Liverpool.
Vidic got killed by Gabi Agbonlahor.
He got killed by Gabi Agbonlahor.
Vidic had a real issue with pace, right? But what's a partnership about? A partnership is about how do you complement the guy next to you. Who's the perfect partner for a Vidic type defender? It's Rio Ferdinand.
But also,
he's got
I
the
think
pace, he's got the ability.
If you look at modern partnerships,
Rio never struggled against the same players that Vidic struggled against. Rio was able to go toe to toe against an Henry.
So they complemented each other.
If you look at the 07-08 semi-final, Rio was majestic against Barcelona because he kept Eto'o quiet. So it's all about partnerships. If this was an argument about whether Vidic is the best Premier League defender, I'd get these two back and I'd shake their hand and say John Terry's better than Vidic.
Okay. I think you're making a valid point about partnerships. You're making a valid point, but I do think that nowadays the attacking weapons that centre-back partnerships like Gabriel and Saliba have to deal with. There's just such greater variety. Like Vidic.
No. There's better strikers in that era. I disagree. Better strikers in that era. You got Drogba, right? Drogba, Torres. That's far better than this year's.
Haaland.
Apart from
Mo
Haaland,
Salah.
who is there?
Mo Salah.
He's on the same team as Konate and
But I'm not putting them in the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Saliba and Gabriel.
Well done. 4 minutes left. It's a very interesting debate. We've got just under 4 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Anybody want to take on? If you've been up, you can come up again. It's absolutely fine. It's okay. You don't have to. Carell's coming back for a little bit more. You're just on your own this time. Mate.
Tobbs is having a brief break. Feel free to tag back in.
I thought I'd seen these guys off.
Whenever you're ready, mate. Carell brought his own chair over.
I did. I think for me, it's debatable. I did bring up John Terry and John Terry and Carvalho already, but I do think, which I didn't mention earlier, is kind of stat padded with the extra league titles that they won afterwards, because the decline of Rio physically and Vidic's time out with injury kind of plays into them because they won more league titles after that. But really, if we're going peak for peak, I still believe it is John Terry and Carvalho. You can't overlook the fact that they conceded only 15 goals and really should have been less, because the last few games of the season, John Terry sat out. I think Petr Cech didn't play either, conceded to. So if we're talking about the levels that they both hit, and you spoke about protection earlier, Van der Sar holds the record for the longest amount of time without conceding a goal consecutively.
Purely because of the protection of Rio and Vidic. I don't think Van der Sar, that was Van der Sar when he's 30 plus, right? Versus a prime Petr Cech.
So you think just teams were just peppering shots against Chelsea during their prime?
They weren't.
Exactly. So
what is the
reason why they
weren't?
What's the differentiating factor?
They had far more protection around them.
I'm not hearing stories, whether true or not. There's no smoke without fire. Agbonlahor's not coming saying, "Well, I done Carvalho."
So you're saying Terry's never been done over by anyone?
I've seen him slipping and sliding a couple of times, but that was in his later career. It wasn't during that partnership.
I'd say if we were talking about individuals, right? I think
I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about as a partnership. When Rio and Vidic were playing together, we're still seeing the stories of Fernando Torres comes up. I even saw David in goal get one over on them at Anfield. Am I lying, Liverpool fans? Did it not happen? Okay. Yeah. Gareth Bale basically retired. Carlton Cole spun them boys. So and I'm not saying they're isolated factors, and obviously big respect to them. They did what they did, but we're talking about a defensive partnership that was so solid. There are no stories like this. But if they're so
solid, why haven't they won the biggest trophies in world football together? Why did they not win the Champions League final? Why have they not got? I
mean, it kind of goes against my argument, but if John Terry doesn't slip in Moscow, do we win it? Do you know what I mean?
And also, United didn't just get to the Champions League final once; they won it, right? Then they got to another final after that, and another final after that, with that same 3 Champions League finals. Bro, you never even got to 1.
Yeah, but are we doing the Champions League final argument?
Of course we are.
But then
you can't say to Arsenal fans, don't bring up Champions League.
Yeah, but we can say Liverpool's back line is one of the greatest of all time because they've got into multiple Champions League finals.
Yeah, but they've had to use different partnerships. So they had Van Dijk, Matip, then they had Van Dijk, Gomez, they've had Van Dijk.
Yeah, but would you say individually any of them are the best partnership just because they got to Champions League finals?
No, but you've got to look at the collective. You're talking about a partnership that's won more Premier League titles
and
has got to 3 Champions League finals.
But we've got sample size.
Also, you mentioned the 15 goal a season, right?
Yeah.
what about the season that came after? Because apart from that one majestic season everyone goes on about, United ended up getting 3 of the best Premier League defensive records 3 seasons in a row.
And at that point, to be fair, Carvalho was missing time with injury.
Playing.
But Carvalho was missing time with injury.
Is it my fault that your defender's not robust enough?
But we're talking about when they're on the pitch playing, and the sample size is there. They've got 3 seasons each.
One sample season where they've done 15. Yeah, well done.
No, that's the peak. That's the peak.
But
that's the peak.
You know, United,
them at their peak didn't reach that level.
United conceded 22 goals in 07-08. Then the next season they only conceded 24. Then the next season,
full time there. Well debated, guys. Really good. Really, really good. Well done to everybody involved. Just a quick halftime break before I send off another person. I need to give a big shout out to today's sponsor for this video, Proton VPN. Now, we've all been there. You're away, you're traveling around the world, and you're trying to watch your team play the big game. And then this comes up on screen. Look, it's annoying. We all know it is. It's a nightmare, but no need to worry anymore because that's where Proton VPN steps in. With over 13,000 servers in over 120 countries, you can connect anywhere in the world and stream your football the way it's meant to be watched. No blocks, no restrictions, and no dodgy streams. Plus, it's lightning fast. Their VPN accelerator boosts speed by up to 400%. So there's zero buffering when your team's on the attack. And with Swiss-grade privacy laws and a strict no-logs policy, your data stays as secure as Arsenal's defence this season. And here's the best bit. Proton VPN's Black Friday deals are live right now with up to 75% off for a limited time. Head over to protonvpn.com/Zach Djellab with the link on screen right now or in the description or in the comments below, which is pinned, and go over there and check it out. And whilst you're over there, try the Proton Pass, which is their secure password manager, which also has Black Friday deals on as well. Protect your connection, stream your team, and a massive thank you to Proton VPN for sponsoring this video because with their help, we can make these videos happen. Okay, on to the next debate.
Bruno Fernandes walks into any Premier League team right now.
Okay, Bruno Fernandes walks into any Premier League team. Without further ado, go, go, go. Everyone laughing and I was standing. Okay, Tobes, welcome.
I like debating you.
Right, where would he get in our team? Ahead of Caicedo, Enzo, or Palmer?
I think he would play 10 and he'd put Palmer on the right.
We'd have Esteval there, though. Why would we?
But he doesn't start Esteval that much, to be honest. Like, I think Esteval's great,
but
he
theory,
doesn't.
Like, best team, why would Bruno be ahead of those players? What would Bruno give that team? Because if Bruno's playing deeper, we've seen he's not really that guy. When he's playing 10, that's his best position. Palmer's better there.
Is though Palmer's got 2 open play goals in 2025. Like, he's been great in the finals, but he's been a bit of a ghost in some games. Palmer, like, I think Palmer will have a better career than Bruno, but I don't think he's right now. You can say
Palmer's still delivering. It's like, what was it, over 30 goal contributions last season. Like, he has a bit of an off period where he's still delivering like more than just numbers. Whereas I think Bruno can actually be a bit just numbers, hit and hope, try and create something out of nothing, but is ultimately just losing his team the ball. It's a turnover machine, to be honest. Whereas I feel like Palmer's a bit more intelligent with how he plays, and obviously a lot younger, so we haven't even seen the best of him yet.
Some people like the aesthetics of Palmer more, and I know we talk about Bruno and numbers, 5 seasons in a row, most chances created in the Premier League. Like, yes, he does give the ball away, but things don't happen without Bruno at Manchester United. If you look at our last few games about Bruno, we went 2-0 down to Grimsby. We had to bring Bruno on to get us back in the game. The last Premier League game without Bruno, we went 2-0 down to Newcastle. Xerxes got booed off. And Ten Hag's last game without Bruno, we lost 4-0 to Crystal Palace. Like, when Palmer's been out, you've been quite good. When Bruno is out our team, we collapse. And obviously you have a better team than us, you can argue that.
I do agree that Bruno is the heartbeat of this United team. However, realistically, it's a heartbeat of a very poor United team. I don't think Bruno would getting past United sides that we saw excel in the past. I don't think he's getting any, at the moment, top 4 sort of sides. I think he's gone by the wayside in that sense. He'd be a good, squad option. He'll compete with Buonanotte. I'm not doubting that by any means. However, I don't think Bruno Fernandes is knocking Cole Palmer out that 10, and I don't think he's playing 8 because I don't think he's good enough to do that.
I think Bruno would play 10, and I think he'd put Cole Palmer on the right hand side. That's what I think he'd do. Like, Esteval's great, but he's an 18-year-old kid.
Those kind of players, like, you have to give them a bit of license. Like with Palmer, he's not exactly going to do the defensive work of everyone else. If you're going to do that, are you going to trust Bruno to be tactically as aware to follow his man?
He can do that when he's asked to do that. He's been asked to do a free roll at United, but when he's asked to be quite tightly disciplined,
but they're free rolling down the league when that's happening. Like,
Tobes, you're off, mate. You're off. Palmer versus Bruno in that one. But the statement is about Bruno going into every team's midfield. Well, you're ready, Walid.
I've got to redeem myself after last time. It's not getting any worse than that. So I just wanted to say one thing quickly in terms of, we all know that Bruno's obviously got the quality to do that for those sides, but I don't know if Bruno is tactically flexible enough to do what he may be required to do in other teams, for example, like at Arsenal, people obviously get onto Odegaard for just not turning up in big games, etc. But if you look at a lot of the struggles we've had, especially this season, it's been when Odegaard hasn't been at the team. I'm not saying that Bruno wouldn't come to Arsenal and not improve us. He probably would. But what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to, for example, at Liverpool this season, only we've seen McAllister drop off, but before Gravenberch was amazing, Szoboszlai has been amazing all season. I don't see what Bruno brings into that midfield to make them better, for example. That's what I'm saying.
What, you think Man United aren't better with Bruno in the midfield?
I mean, to be fair, Man United fans, like, I see it all the time on socials. For example, in the summer, we need to get rid of Bruno. We need to start again.
But they said
Bruno
they
has
wanted
to be
to
the
get
guy
rid of
to
Bruno
go.
for Wirtz, and Wirtz has come to the Premier League and done nothing.
Yeah,
They're
no,
like, get rid of Bruno, bring in Wirtz, he's clear.
Yeah, but I know. But I think with Bruno, it's like he gets. Yeah, I know. There's different sides of it, obviously. But what I'm trying to say is, like, with Bruno and the United fan base, there's been such a discharge over the past few years. They don't know. For me, obviously, last season he started off quite slow, but obviously improved. This season has been quite good. But there's been a lot of times where he hasn't been that great for you guys, and you guys have definitely scapegoated him. We can't deny that, sure.
He's the scapegoat when things go wrong.
Yeah,
like,
so how can you put your best player as the scapegoat? I don't understand that.
It's
But
like-
then yet you're still so important when he's in the team.
This is
That's
just
what I
Man
don't get.
United fans. Rashford was our scapegoat, just after he scored 30 goals. McTominay was the scapegoat. Ronaldo was the scapegoat when he got 20 goals at 37.
Well done, mate. We've got 6 minutes left in the debate, all about Bruno Fernandes. The timer for me to get people in is gone. Mons, welcome. Keep going.
If Bruno Fernandes is the heartbeat of your team, that's why you're as bad as you are, in my opinion.
I mean...
Can't be, like, I'm generally speaking, because, don't get me wrong, he gets numbers, and I feel like you guys have been starved of so much quality. The guy you actually should have been praising was Paul Pogba in his time. But you guys have been starved of so much quality over the years, is that you look at someone like Bruno Fernandes and say he's the cream of the crop when he's not. He has quality, but he spams his quality. He doesn't have quality in the sense that if he plays, he's going to play 15 passes and 2 of them are going to come off.
About 14.
Well, no. So generally, I think he spams so many passes, and 2 of them come off, and you guys laud it like it's the best thing in the world.
He's got like 93% pass accuracy this season.
He doesn't even play 10 for Man United.
I'm sorry, brother. I think it was the 2 that might have got you there when he said the 2. 5 minutes left in the debate. Welcome.
Hello.
Does he start Palace?
Yeah, 100%. I just want to start by saying he is so underrated. It's actually criminal.
Thank you.
Like, for me, if he's not at United last year, they go down. I think he steps up big time, time and time again. He's easily their best player, and I don't think that should be used as a stick to beat him with. The only point I'd say is that I don't think a manager like Pep would like a kind of player like Bruno.
He did try to buy him. Is what I would say.
I just think that I think technically and ability-wise, he would be good enough to play for almost every team in the league. I just think that maybe there's maybe some questions about his personality and about stuff like that. But I think there's very different players. Pep loves young players that are exciting, and he can kind of put his stamp on and develop.
With Pep, I think he's probably shown he's the most tactically flexible and versatile manager in the Premier League. The fact that he's Liverpool were trying to go again this season and they're just collapsing. Pep, to do what he's done 4 seasons in a row, to win so many Premier Leagues, he's definitely the most versatile manager. That I think he would get Bruno and go, this guy is a chance creating machine. I've got Erling Haaland. I think that Bruno would absolutely cook at Man City, and people act like Bruno is less disciplined than he actually is. When Bruno has been asked to do more disciplined roles, he's done it quite well. He's just always sort of had this 3 role at Man United, because it's if we give Bruno the license to do something will happen. Otherwise, nothing happens. Bruno's defensive numbers are ridiculous. He's having to play deeper this season, which I don't particularly like. But last season, Moises Caicedo was the only player in the whole Premier League that got more ball recoveries than him. He had more ball recoveries than Elliot Anderson, Declan Rice, and he played half the season deeper, half the season further up. Bruno has the most passes in the league, the most chances created in the league, second for ball recoveries, top 5 for tackles if you're going off midfielders.
But this is what I'm saying. I do think he's a great player. I just don't think that he maybe fits the kind of tactical style of managers like Pep. I also would probably say that with Maresca as well. I think he prefers having those 2 kind of box-to-boxes in Caicedo and Enzo. And that's the only reason I come up and say that I don't agree with the point. But I do think, and I do want to make it clear, my opinion is that he's criminally underrated. And I'm happy to leave it there.
If you want, go ahead, mate. Well done. Just under 3 minutes left. I like that how you gave him praise, but also slagged him off slightly. Well done. 2 minutes and a half. 3, 2, 1. Could have committed. Next time. Rory, go.
I don't overly care, but I would argue Man City is the easiest case to argue, I think, in terms of at their pomp and peak with everyone fit, you're looking at Rodri, a box-to-box, and Foden, and I think that is a better team. I think Foden is a better player than Bruno Fernandes. Now, he wasn't at his best last year. I've been as critical as anyone of Phil Foden, but I think if you're talking about an all-round team, you're talking about the individual talent that Phil Foden has, the way that he can unlock games, and his attitude and understanding of the game, I think he is better than Bruno Fernandes, and I think he wouldn't walk into that team.
I think Foden's a phenomenal player, but I also think he has the biggest PR in football. He makes one pass and he's being glazed as if he's made like this most world-class pass.
I don't disagree with that. But
like, thing with Foden is, when he's playing in a team that isn't quite performing, he goes missing. When City are poor, he isn't there to bring them up. Like England, he's done absolutely nothing in an England shirt, let's be honest. Like Bruno is there. When your team is not playing well, Bruno is there to lift you up, to get involved.
But the thing is, we're talking about teams that Bruno would walk into. Man City, generally speaking, are performing at that level. And so you're talking about walking into a team that is performing at that level. I don't massively think Bruno Fernandes... I mean, did he pull United up last year? You say he maybe stopped them getting relegated, but that's different kettles of fish.
He was in the crap team.
I think with Foden, you look at the season before that, he was arguably their best player. He was genuinely a massive difference maker for them. I think Bruno Fernandes this season actually has been really quite poor. He's missed 2 big penalties for you, which have left you in, 7th, when you could maybe even be a top 4 team. So I don't even necessarily think he's dragging you through right now. In fact, I'm not even sure he's got a place in this United team, and I think they're probably looking at moving him on next summer. So I'm not convinced he even gets into the United team in the future, let alone a fully firing City team.
Bruno's in his 30s, so they will look to move him on naturally, and Amarin is playing him as a 6, and we all know that if Bruno was in the 10 role, that is his best position. That's where he does his best work.
If Bruno was as good, I believe, as you think he is and could walk into any other team, you would set up a system for him that suited him, at least to some descript, rather than maybe playing him as a 6/8 or...
This is Ruben Amarin, the most stubborn, I'm not changing my system manager in the league. Like... That is the problem with Ruben Amarin.
But the club decided to bring in a manager that they knew was going to play like that they knew may not have a place for Bruno Fernandes in, because the club themselves didn't necessarily believe that Bruno Fernandes was a player that you would build a squad around.
We know Man United don't think long term when they make decisions, though. Like...
Full time. Good way to end it. That was very good, Alice. Well done, everybody involved. Just before we move on to our next debate, really, really quickly, I've sent the guys away to go and have a little orange, a little halftime break. But I want to speak to you guys right now. I've got a big aim, a big aim. I want to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the season. I need your help at home to do that. If you're not subscribed already, scroll down, go and do that. We need another 50,000 of you in order to do that. And as a reward, I'm going to make a promise. I'll get Thierry Henry here if we hit 100,000 subscribers. Go and do that, and we'll get Big Henry, the Frenchman, arguably the best player the Premier League's ever seen, in that seat. Okay, now on to the next debate.
Peter Schmeichel is pound for pound the best signing in Premier League history.
3, 2, 1, go. Peter Schmeichel, pound for pound. Kai, welcome. Is it Tim Cahill?
No. I know who exactly he's going to mention.
Cost 60 grand.
Yes.
Seamus Coleman.
No.
Longevity.
Yeah.
Mate, how much he cost? How much we got out of it? Pound for pound. No better.
I'm going to be real with you. I absolutely love Seamus Coleman. I think he's one of the most underrated fullbacks in Premier League history. 60 grand, absolute snip. But ultimately, right, he didn't win anything. Okay? And I get the fact that he's played for Everton. But we have to look at different, apart from longevity, we also got to look at the level you've played at, the pressure you've played under, whether you've defined the position in world football. So Peter Schmeichel redefined goalkeeping. People forget that Peter Schmeichel had to come into Manchester United when they changed the back pass rule, right? So he's been brought up this whole life in terms of academy football. He's had to play like you're picking the ball up. He's come into Manchester United at the highest stage, and he's suddenly having to play with the back pass rule. And yet he redefines the position to the point where he's one of the top 5 goalkeepers possibly ever that's played the game. Now, if you disagree with that, that's fine. The rule, but you would definitely say he's top 10 goalkeeper of all time.
They changed the rule because of him, because he was abusing it with Denmark. It's like, you can't use that. Like, so it's your own fault, bro.
To be fair, I'll give you that. But Peter Schmeichel, that Denmark team, right? He won the Euros with them. That team hadn't even qualified for the Euros because they were that bad, right? Then, who was their best player? Michael Laudrup. Michael Laudrup wasn't even playing in that tournament. Who gets the most valuable player of that tournament? A goalkeeper, Peter Schmeichel. Who's the best performer in the final against Germany in Euro 92? Peter Schmeichel. So for a goalkeeper to, with a crap team basically, to go on and win a flipping major international tournament and then come in and win 5 Premier League...
pass rule.
Yeah, but then he
You
comes
just
in
pick
and
it
wins.
up all game. Oh, you can't score. I've got the ball in
Yeah,
my
but
hand.
when he
I'm gonna
played
just
for
kick it over there.
Yeah, but when he played for United, he didn't do that because that rule didn't exist.
Yeah,
So,
was he
and
as
he's won
good?
5 Premier League titles, won a Champions League, captained the treble team in the final.
Okay, you
I'm
say about
sorry
defining positions. Baines and Coleman at the time.
Yeah.
Nobody liked them in the league. They were the most attacking fullbacks in the league.
Kai, well done. Really like the shout out of the back pass. All done really well. 3, 2. Well, Mons, brilliant. Fantastic. Jump in, go crazy. Maybe knock the mic slightly to your straight.
Let's go.
A shake of the hand. Yeah, how much was Schmeichel signed for?
500,000, which would be £1 million in today's money.
£500,000.
1 million. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, still, it's £500,000 at the time is how much he signed for Man United.
Yeah.
So.
Well, whatever you consider.
No, it is. I checked in the inflation.
You're doing normal inflation. Football inflation, that's like 10 million.
He'd go for like 30.
So.
I'll do a little bit of research. You go crazy.
I get what
you
you're
go
trying
crazy.
to say. Okay,
You go
yeah,
crazy.
I get what you're saying.
So, bro, just quickly, just based on what again? So, just based on value and trophies and longevity and all these things, right? So, what about maybe like selling on for more money? So, again, can I interest you in Andy Robertson?
Yeah, go for it.
Bought in for how much money? What?
About 7,
8 million.
Yeah,
Goes on to be at least probably top 3 left backs in Premier League history. 2-time Champions League, 2-time Premier League winner, various other trophies as well. Come from who? Hull City. You know what I'm saying? He's. I'm saying my guy.
We had to get my guy in.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, if we're talking about flipping a player for more money, Coutinho 8 to 12 million, 146 sold. Mo Salah 40 million. Premier League all-timer.
If this was a video about how good Liverpool's transfer strategy is, right? I'll give you I shake your hand. I got to sit down.
I can give you Henry. Arsenal sold Anelka.
Mm-hmm.
They sold Anelka and bought in Henry, and the rest is history.
But this isn't about list all the good signings that have been made in Premier League history. This is pound for pound who's made the most value for money in terms of the impact on the team, right? So let's just take Henry, right? He cost £11 million when he signed, which is I think is pretty cheap. Right?
Okay, in
and
today's market,
he ended up being probably the best forward in Premier League history.
In today's market, how much would that be? In today's market,
yeah, but let's just 50, 60 million.
I got, by the way, the Schmeichel fee in today's market, according to a calculator that I found, is about 6 million.
Okay.
Just go. Keep going.
Okay.
But let's just say,
all right.
So we're basically saying that Henry is about 22 times worth more than Schmeichel. If we're just basing it on what that price was.
Even forget
Did he have 22 times more impact? So that's what. So I'm going to sit back and let you talk now. But basically, that's the sort of argument we've got to make, because Schmeichel's impact, right? Not just a leader who galvanised the back four. He transformed Manchester United, a team that's not won a title in 30 years. He helps them to win the title. That back four that they had the season before, they finished 6th. Schmeichel comes and they end up winning the league. No. His first season they finished 2nd. Season after they finished 1st, right? And then they go on to win 5 Premier League titles. They go on to dominate Europe. Again, they never won a Champions League in 30 years as well. Right. So who has come in to have such a transformative impact at £500,000?
First of all, it wasn't just Schmeichel, by the way. There was you had a number of superstars that were also coming through. So basically, in 91-92, when Schmeichel's first arrived, him and Cantona had a transformative impact. So if you want to bring in Cantona, I'll take it. And I hear what you're saying, but you're talking about longevity, so we have to include those superstars that you brought along into the team. If I'm talking about now Andy Robertson, for example, yes, if I brought up Andy Robertson, you're going to say, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Bobby Firmino. You're going to say all of these players as well.
Would you say Andy Robertson, as good as he is, and I think I agree with your statement, top 3 left back, yeah? Would you say he had as transformative an impact as, say, Van Dijk and Alisson within your spine of your team? Because for me, anyone that's played football, right, fullbacks are important, right? And they're getting more important in the modern game. But are they as important as your spine, your goalkeeper, your centre-back?
100%. I'll tell you why. Because he was.
I don't think Andy Robertson's as important as Trent Alexander-Arnold.
No. But we are talking for absolute. We're talking signings alone. Andy Robertson had to break his own records when it comes to assist. For one, he's redefining one of the ways to redefine a position going forward.
Mons, you're off, brother. I'm really sorry. 4 minutes left. Well, welcome to the debate. 4 minutes. Yes. Go crazy.
Okay, so in terms of the transfer fee, we can't really debate that. That's fair enough if he's gone for £500,000. However, I feel like, at least in my opinion, I can't speak for everyone here, I think there's only one person, in my opinion, that comes to mind when it comes to pound for pound, when it comes to what he's won for the club, what he's done for the club, in terms of getting them out of the situation that they were in, getting them back into the situation, staying there, and then bringing them back up. There's only one man, and it's Bukayo Saka. So I think... I'm joking. Okay, Jamie...
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Jamie Vardy, in my opinion.
Jamie Vardy's his actual shout. Jamie Vardy's his actual shout, everyone.
£1 million, No, but if we're talking about pound for pound in terms of the actual
cards.
convenience. No, I was just
Yeah.
It was Premier League signing. I'll let you walk. I'll let you walk, mate. I'll let you walk.
I like that as well.
It was a good shout. It was a good shout.
You know,
Karel,
we'll have
mate.
that one later, yeah? Come on.
Karel, welcome. 3 minutes left to the debate. When you're ready, Karel, jump in.
Yeah. You're going to have to hear me out with this one. And I'm actually not trolling when I say this. But if we're talking about transformative impact on a club and where they were at the time versus where they are now, you could easily make the argument that Yaya Toure is one of the most impactful signings, if not the most impactful signing of the modern era. When he first signed for City, it was in 2010. Your club, semi-final of the FA Cup, Yaya Toure. Final against Stoke, Yaya Toure. That's kickstarts, giving them the first piece of silverware. The next season, to win the league title. Yes, everyone remembers Aguero's goal, but down the stretch, especially a game that comes to mind is Newcastle away at St James's Park. All those precious points they needed to get into that situation. Yaya Toure stepped up time and time again. You go on again, the League Cup final, brought them more silverware. 13-14, one of the greatest. Obviously, you brought up Ronaldo's sit. I'm not going to put it up there with that, but if we're talking about a driving force for winning the title, Yaya Toure was there again. And he gets overlooked because you're David Silva's, Kevin De Bruyne comes there, Aguero does what he does. But if we're talking about a man that was there in the biggest moments, and I don't even know how much he went for.
24 million.
24 million? Pennies in today's market. At the time, it's decent. It's a decent amount. But for what you got out of it and for where it took your club, by the time he's joined to when he leaves.
I'm just say one thing, right? So
I think
Yaya Toure came with a collection of players, right? Aguero, Company.
No, he didn't. Company was there. Aguero came the season after. He came with David Silva.
Okay, but still, I think that collective was what transformed Man City, right?
But how can he?
I don't think he had as transformative an impact as what Peter Schmeichel did based on where Manchester United were for the past 30 years. Secondly, that fee is a big fee, right?
But you
expect a player coming in to have a big impact on that fee. Secondly, did City win the Champions League? Did Yaya Toure perform in the Champions League for Man City? Yes or no?
But that's an 8 year. So from when he signed, you said 1991, right? They won the title. They won the Champions League in 1999. In that time, right? You talk about collective. Cool. He comes in. Cantona comes in. What comes a couple years later? The class of '92.
For example,
so you talk about you can't.
You're
moving the goalposts.
Bergkamp in the '99 semi-final.
But you're going
United
to
don't win the treble.
But you're moving the goalposts from. He is the single most impactful player. And I said that about Yaya Toure, and you said a collective.
No,
Manchester United built a collective off the back of signing him. If you had him, you had Cantona, you've got your all-stars. Then you bring in Beckham. Then you bring in Giggs. Scholes comes in. Nicky Butt.
But we were already successful before these players have come to the table.
But so is but Yaya Toure in his first season.
Beckham, Scholes, all of them lot. They came after we'd already won the double without them lot. Because Schmeichel was such a core part of that original side that won the league. Him and Cantona were the two main players in that team.
So why are you discounting it in the second season when City win the
10 minutes done, guys. Apologies. It's always what happens. Just another quick break, guys. I need to say, a lot of you in the comments ask, how can I be involved? It's super, super simple. On social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, all of that good stuff. I send out a message looking for guys and people to come on the show. If you would like to be involved and be a part of it, then get over to my Instagram, get over to my Twitter, follow me, and keep an eye out for that message. Because genuinely, everybody here is from that. It's as easy as that. Send me a message, reply to my Instagram, and you guys can be here for the next episode.
In 2025, Bryan Mbeumo has been the best winger in the Premier League.
Okay, there we have it. 3, 2, 1, go.
And Jai's a good shout if that's what he's coming with.
2025.
Jai, Grealish, pick one. I'm going to go in Jai. Individually, talent-wise, he's better. Mbeumo played in a better team for Brentford last season. And Jai this season is going pound for pound with Mbeumo, surrounded by better players.
I think Njai is a fantastic player and I think he's brilliant and I think he will get a big move this summer. But if we go back to the summer, everyone is looking at Mbeumo, every big club is looking at Mbeumo. There weren't those same links with Njai, and I think he's great. But honestly, Njai brings so much more than just numbers. But Mbeumo's numbers were better. Everyone was talking about Mbeumo. He was the one that people were looking at. I don't think
penalties though.
Yeah, he did take penalties.
So did Njai.
So did Njai, and also his only Haaland has more non-penalty goals than him in the league this season. Like, he does score a lot of non-penalty goals as well that people like. Dembele won the Ballon d'Or. Not comparing him to Dembele, but he has more non-penalty goals in the last year than Ousmane Dembele that won the Ballon d'Or in the league.
But about individual quality, like Mbeumo in that Man United position, he does play as far forward as possible. And Jai is almost playing right back sometimes. And he picks up the ball on the halfway, did it against Sunderland. And he goes from halfway on his own and scores.
I mean, look, and Jai's a fantastic player, but that's just like the system that he plays in. Sometimes Mbeumo does come deeper, and you do see him make a good tackle and that, because Ahmad is a right wing back and Ahmad is more of a winger, so sometimes Mbeumo has to get back to cover him. But some games Amrin wants Mbeumo to stay high and almost be a second striker, but other games he does come back and he gets the ball and he carries the ball and he gets us out of this mess where he'll play like a 1-2 and the next minute he's up the pitch making a run, scoring a goal. Like, his influence is nuts.
But his numbers are naturally going to be higher when he is playing that far forward. And if you go in numbers, fair play, Mbeumo does get those numbers, but Njai, talent-wise, there's nothing like him in the league. Maybe Semenyo, but Njai's better.
I think Mbeumo is underrated as a talent. I think Mbeumo has that thing, like, I'm going to say it now, but when you're bald, your PR is never as good as a footballer. I know it sounds like a footballer, but like, people just don't look at him and think he's a baller. Like, I feel like if he looked more fancy, everyone would rate him more.
Kai, you're off, my friend. Well done. Well done. 2 minutes gone. About 8 minutes left. 3, 2, 1. Here he comes. Ben Bowman. Nothing but football battle.
Yeah, I really like Bryan Mbeumo, but I do feel like in both systems that he's played in at Brentford and at Man United, it's been geared up for him to kind of run into the space in behind and finish off chances. Like, he is a final action player. I'm not saying that he can't beat a man out wide. I feel like there's been some lazy narratives around him not being able to do that, just kind of pigeonholing him as a final action player. But I think the job that someone like a Doku does, or Semenyo, and Jai as well, I don't think he's... Well, I think it's debatable between him and Semenyo, but Doku, I think, has been quite consistent for the course of 2025. And I think the job that he has in terms of relentlessly going at the winger, trying to beat him 1v1 every time, creating chances, is probably harder to facilitate, same as what Njai does, same as what Semenyo does, probably, rather than an Mbeumo, who it's all kind of geared up for him to finish. Like, I do really like Mbeumo, and I don't think he's just that kind of player, but I see Mbeumo more as like a Salah, where it's like, again, the system kind of gears him up to running behind, finish off chances. I'm not saying he can't beat a man, but I do feel that the job of those kind of wingers who have got more about them, more in their game, is harder than what Mbeumo does.
I do get the point you're making, and I do agree with some of what you're saying. I think Doku this season, if we're doing off this season, there's a big debate there, but Doku kind of appeared at the Club World Cup and then has picked up form since.
He was still very decent at the back end of 2020. When City kind of went on that run towards...
He showed glimpses, but I think it's this season where he's really, like, Mbeumo last season
he's
was
gone up a
definitely
level,
clear.
for sure.
But, like, everyone talks about Salah as if he's the best winger in the Premier League, and arguably he is. I think, some people don't like him, but, like, if Salah, we're having this debate a year ago, is the best winger in the Premier League, then saying because Mbeumo has this sort of style similar to Salah where he's there to finish off chances, couldn't you argue Mbeumo is the best winger in 2025 because he has a similar role to Salah, who was seen as the best
They're
winger
both like
in the
carded
league.
as right wingers, but I think the job that some of those other wingers they actually have to do as kind of an overall package is probably harder and makes them a more complete player than what someone like Mbeumo. I get your point. Like, they are carded as a right winger and you judge Salah in the same way, but I don't personally see Salah as a winger. I see him as a forward. And when you're asking Salah to kind of beat men out wide 1v1, we've seen that this season, and we've seen that that's not really his game. And again, I'm not saying that Mbeumo can't do that, or Mbeumo can't do that.
He's better than Salah at that this season.
He is, yeah. And I think his link-up play is better. You see him kind of drop deep and facilitate play a little bit more than someone like a Salah does, but I do think Doku is better at that. I think Semenyo is probably a little bit better at that, even though he's a kind of different type of profile as well. Even, like, I know the goal contributions haven't necessarily been there, but even someone like Saka, I know he was injured towards the back end of 2025, but I do feel that the job that those kind of wingers...
If Saka wasn't injured, there's definitely...
Yeah, sure. I think that kind of profile to play is kind of harder. They've got a much more kind of a difficult task to kind of play than what someone like an Mbeumo does. I'm not taking anything away from him as a player, but I see him very much as a final action kind of player who gets chances created for him, and his primary job on the pitch is to finish, and he's excellent at that.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. If we're going off overall, I think, Salah is seen as the best winger in the league, but I think Saka has the hardest job. Like, we're going off overall. So, like, we can sort of apply this season, aesthetically, in 2025, Doku's been fantastic. He has maybe a harder job than Mbeumo, but across 2025, because we're looking at the whole year, And Mbeumo for me has been the best winger in the Premier League, and he obviously gets compared to Salah a bit, but there's also a lot more to his game. Like, he does a lot of running, and Mbeumo covered the second most distance in the Premier League last season after Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, he's working for Brentford. He kind
rate.
of was working more in a team that was about being disciplined, working hard defensively, kind of working as a collective, sitting back a little bit deeper and trying to hit teams on the counter.
He was deeper.
Yeah.
His ball carrying was more there. Like, he's playing a bit higher at United, but it was a lot of work rate. Highest expected assists last season. Yeah. Most crosses last season. It's not just he scores goals and gets a few assists. It is, well, he was the hardest working, arguably, winger in the Premier League. He's got the pressing, which, Salah doesn't really press as much as an Mbeumo, and that can make you knackered, and that's where you could compare him to maybe Saka in that sense.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, fair play. Well done. You can go sit down. Very, very nice debate. We've got 4 minutes left. Anybody want to step up with the remaining 4 minutes? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Welcome back.
Firstly, I'd say that the things I look for in wingers in terms of do I not want to face you is, do you scare me? Doku, for me, is terrifying. He's so quick, he's so good on the ball, so hard to stop. Salah as well, I know he's kind of falling off a little bit now, but what he's done, I'm always, as a Palace fan, been terrified to play against Salah. And then I think, therefore for me, I think that Mbeumo is more in conversations with the likes of Ndiaye, and for me, it's Ismaila Sarr. And I think, but genuinely, if you talk about what he's done for Palace really and how good he's been, and also how much he kind of...
He's a good player.
But also kind of the fear factor as well, Villa fans have nightmares about him. He's terrorised Van Dijk 3 times this season already. He's such... But that's why I think they're kind of probably similar level. The goal output, and Mbeumo probably edges it, but again, as we touched on there, more of the finisher. But for me, I think he's probably more in the debate with the likes of Sarr and...
I think that's harsh on Mbeumo. And one of my points I'm going to make is Man United have signed a lot of right wingers. Anthony, Sancho, you can be seen as this good player and you come to Man United and you just stink it up. I think to be a good player and then to go to Man United and be a good player, you have to be a really good player. I think Sarr is great, but could he come to Manchester United and have the same impact Mbeumo's had?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I actually think because of the similarity in the system, I think he'd suit United really well. I think, we talk about 2025 as the year as well. There's also, obviously, Mbeumo's contribution at Brentford was superb there. I don't think he's been as good for United as he was for Brentford. Again, that might be because he's stepping up to a bigger club. But for me, he just kind of sits in the debate. He's not yet in the debates for the best winger in the league.
I think Mbeumo has been very, very good at United. He just won Premier League Player of the Month. Just scored versus Tottenham. I think he's got 6 goals in the league so far, all non-penalty. I think, he's judged to a different standard when he's at United. If he has 1 bad game at United but 5 good games, everyone will just talk about the 1 bad game. Whereas at Brentford, if he has 5 good games and 1 bad game, no one would notice it. So when you're at United, you're instantly, the minute you have 1 bad game, people make out you're worse than you are. And I think that's just a bit of the PR around the player. I think his influence at United is mad. And also he always scores when he plays Spurs. Spurs don't like Mbeumo. He terrifies Spurs. He does pop up versus the big teams.
No, for sure, but that's why I think for me he'd probably be on a similar par with the likes of Sarr, who again terrorises Liverpool, Villa. These players. I think he could be on his way to becoming that level, but I don't think he's there yet.
But do you think? Couldn't you say the same about Jeremy Doku? He's just had his first big season. He's on his way to that level.
No, for sure. But I think right now I'd rather have Jeremy Doku in my team than Bryan Mbeumo.
That's a fair argument. I think off this season, it's a really big debate. And I think Jeremy Doku, when you come to aesthetics and that more dribbler type winger. But I'm just looking at right now, if you put Jeremy Doku into Manchester United, would he have that same impact? Would he be able to lift sort of that team on the shoulders, have the mentality to pop up?
Yeah, it's hard. And they're all hypotheticals because likewise, you could say if you put Mbeumo in Manchester City side, he's playing next to Erling Haaland, he'd probably be putting up better assist numbers than he is right now.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is hypotheticals. But for me right now, current form, I'd take Jeremy Doku over any other winger in the league, purely for the fact that he's on form, he's doing well, but also his kind of individual attributes. The pace is terrifying, how good he is on the ball, how incredible he is 1v1. In that FA Cup final, Palace fans were shitting themselves every time he got on the ball because he's that scary.
I think this season, but 2025, I think Mbeumo's just been more consistent across the year.
There we have it, guys. Good debate. Manchester United versus 20 Premier League fans. Done. So there we have it. 2 Manchester United fans, 1 Manchester United fan versus 20 Premier League clubs. Both Alice and Pythagoras and Boots will be linked on screen right now at the end and also in the description, along with everybody else's channels down there as well. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you very soon.